We think of time as something that just passes. But what if a moment, just a single moment, could have a body, an anatomy that tells a story? It's a wild idea, right? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating concept from Vedic astrology that says exactly that. It's called the Karaṇa Puruṣa. Let's get right into it. So let's just start with this big kind of philosophical question. Can time actually have a body? I mean, could you take one specific moment and map it out onto a physical form? With a head, a chest, all of it?
It sounds pretty out there, I know, but in the ancient system of Vedic astrology, the answer is a resounding yes. This is the whole idea behind what's called the Karaṇa Puruṣa, which, pretty cool, literally translates to the body of the moment. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around how a moment gets a body, we first have to understand its building blocks. We need to look at the basic units of time that this system actually works with. First up, we have something called a Tithi. The easiest way to think of it as a lunar day. Now, its length is measured as 60 Ghaṭi, and a Ghaṭi is just a traditional Vedic unit of time. One Ghaṭi is about 24 of our modern minutes. Simple enough, right? Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. If you take that Tithi, that lunar day, and you cut it exactly in half, you get a Karaṇa. So a Karaṇa lasts for 30 Ghaṭi. And this 30 Ghaṭi chunk of time is the foundation. It's the canvas for the body of time we're about to map out. So this brings us right to the main event. We're going to take that 30 Ghaṭi block, the Karaṇa, and literally project it onto a human figure. We're giving the moment its own anatomy. So as you see this figure being sketched out right now, that is the Karaṇa Puruṣa. Every single part of this body, from the head all the way down, represents a specific little slice of those 30 Ghaṭi. It's like a living, breathing map of a moment in time. So how does this map actually work? Well, according to the ancient Nāradapurāṇa text, it's all laid out. Each chunk of time corresponds to a body part and a potential outcome. So the first 5 Ghaṭi, that's the face, and it points to obstacles. The 6th Ghaṭi is the neck, and it's associated with, well, death. Then Ghaṭi 7 all the way through 17 make up the chest, which indicates poverty. The navel area from 18 to 21 signifies loss. The waist from 22 to 27, that can suggest madness. And then finally, the last 3 Ghaṭi from 28 to 30 form the tail, or the lower part of the body. And this one, interestingly enough, points to success. Okay, this is all fascinating as a concept, right? But how do you actually use it? Like, how would an astrologer figure out which part of this body lines up with a person's specific moment of birth? Well, turns out there's a pretty simple calculation for that. It's really straightforward. All you do is, first, you find out what percentage of the Karaṇa had passed at the exact moment of birth. Then, step 2, you just multiply that percentage by 30, and voila! The number you get tells you exactly which Ghaṭi part of the Karaṇa Puruṣa that birth falls into. All right, to see how this works in the real world, let's take a look at the example our source text gives us. We're going to look at the birth chart of the former Indian Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi. So, according to the astrological data, at the moment he was born, 22.4% of the Karaṇa that was active at the time had already passed. That's our starting number, 22.4%. Okay, now we just plug that right into our formula. We take that 22.4%, we multiply it by 30, and that gives us a result of 6.72. So what does 6.72 mean? Well, it means the birth happened during the 7th Ghaṭi. Think about it. 6 full Ghaṭi have already passed, so the moment itself falls inside that 7th segment. So our key number is 7. All right, so we've got our number, 7. But what does that actually mean? To find out, we have to go back to our anatomical map and see where the 7th part lands. And this is where the interpretation gets really interesting. The 7th Ghaṭi, it falls right at the beginning of the range for the chest, which covers Ghaṭi 7 all the way to 17. And the result that's associated with this part of the body is poverty. Yeah, maybe not what you're expecting. Now, I know, hearing that is probably a bit of a shock, especially when we're talking about a figure like Rajiv Gandhi. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole thing. Context is absolutely everything. This is not a standalone prediction. In fact, the source text itself gives this huge critical warning. It says, and I'm quoting here, "This should not be taken verbatim, as other yogas in his Kundalini counter it.
A kundalini is just the birth chart, and yogas are specific planetary combinations. This is a perfect example of why you can never, ever just isolate one single technique in astrology. So the big takeaway here is that the Karaṇa Puruṣa is just one little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. You have to remember, Vedic astrology is a holistic system. It's all about putting dozens of different factors together, not just picking one out. And in Rajiv Gandhi's chart, there were other really powerful planetary combinations that completely contradicted this one single indicator. For instance, the planet that was actually ruling his Karaṇa Puruṣa was in an amazing position, which pointed toward success and basically overrode what this body of time was suggesting. So we kind of end up right back where we started. We've seen that this technique isn't about some simple fatalistic prediction. It's more of a profound metaphor, isn't it? It's a way to think about the quality, the very shape and character of the moment we happen to enter the world. It's this beautiful reminder that time isn't just a number ticking on a clock. Maybe it's a living, breathing thing. Which leaves us with that final lingering question. What does it really mean to be born in a moment that has its very own anatomy? Thanks for digging into this with me.